With the world economy in a fragile state, top corporations must adapt to survive. The bosses of some of Canada's biggest companies are about to take extreme action. To stay ahead of the game, they're going undercover in their own organizations. This week, one of Canada's biggest home improvement chains fights for reno supremacy.
The Canadian home improvement industry is a battleground.
Home Hardware is one of the nation's most recognizable brands.
Home Hardware, home of the handyman.
But they're getting hammered by big box competition.
We're out there day in, day out, fighting for customers.
Now, Chief Operating Officer Terry Davis is going undercover.
This is a first for me, putting mascara on my eyebrows.
To keep customers and safeguard profits, he'll work in disguise in his own company.
You are styling, John.
And during an agonizing week on the shop floor,
Kind of losing me here.
he'll be confronted with gritty realities.
That is back-breaking work.
So that's how bad this job is. I could use some help.
Yeah.
Big time.
And face harsh truth.
I don't know how I'm going to get through this day. I'm too old for this. This isn't the career for me.
But when he grabs back the reins of his business,
I'm Terry Davis. I'm Chief Operating Officer of Home Hardware Stores.
Really?
Yeah.
Well. The big kahuna.
he'll give these hard workers the biggest surprise of their working lives.
Oh my God.
Wow. Because this is Undercover Boss Canada.
We're in St. Thomas, Ontario at Geerlinks Home Hardware Building Center, and I'm going to be working in the yard. If we don't look after our contractor customers, somebody else will. I can't let that happen. We got to deliver.
It's his last day working undercover. Dyllan is expecting him.
Dyllan?
Yeah.
Hey, how are you doing, John?
Not bad at all. John, nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you.
I guess we got our weather against us today, but right now we have some drywall to do for one of our contractors. So
Okay, great.
let's take a run at her.
Across the country, Home Hardware delivers hundreds of thousands of pounds of building supplies to renovation contractors each year. Workers like Dyllan and his partner Danny ensure that each piece arrives safely.
Dyllan, can you tell me when the show was taped?
We taped, I believe, towards the end of May last year.
So Terry Davis, when you guys were on one of the job sites doing the 8-foot drywall, and in the show he said that he had to find an excuse to take a break, and we then see him out in the garage wiping his forehead and everything. So did he tell you that he was going to disappear? Did he tell you he was going to take a break? What happened in that segment?
At that segment, they decided that it was time for lunch. It was probably cruising towards 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and everyone was dragging themselves a little bit. We had work to do, so we kept muscling through. They sent one of their guys out for some sandwiches, and they sat in the garage next door, and they had lunch, and Dan and I muscled through a couple of lifts of drywall. So we had to get the job done. We were already with the production echoes. It had taken a while in the day, so we needed to kind of make up for some time there.
So when we saw him sitting in the garage, he wasn't not only taking a break, he was waiting for his food.
Exactly. Now, a number of other times during the day, he did just kind of slip out into nowhere. Someone would take me aside and say, "We need to ask you a question." And then I'd look back and, he's gone for 20 minutes, half an hour.
Oh.
Now, afterwards, I realized he was doing an aside or, some commentary on the job.
Okay, that's what they were doing there.
At home.
Very, very busy. I have a 4-year-old girl, 6-year-old boy, and they're just pumped full of energy. And every single time I walk in the door, I get, "Daddy, daddy, 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 daddy," and I'm right on my legs.
Okay. So it's family.
Oh, yeah.
Family stuff.
That's what keeps me going. You get home and you have the whole world right there. I don't need the excess. I don't need the gravy.
So is your wife, she work here?
No, she's got some pretty nasty health problems. She's got fibromyalgia. It's something that basically deteriorates your muscles and joints.
Oh, geez.
And there's absolutely no way she could go out and get a job. She's just debilitated.
Oh,
but
geez.
once in a while, if I'm lucky, my wife will have some extra time. She'll drive the kids by my side.
Oh, that's cool that they see what you do.
Oh, they see Dad hard at work, so they know that, you got to work to earn.
Well, the same way, my dad was tremendous impact on my life, and he led by example, really, and
That's
how
very important.
Yeah. Dyllan's pretty inspirational. When I hear Dyllan talk about all that's on his shoulders as a single wage earner, that's what it was like for me when I was starting out. And it's tough. It's really tough.
In the show, you mentioned your wife has fibromyalgia.
Yes.
What is that, and how's she doing since that was brought up in the show?
Okay, now please bear with me because I've read a lot about it. I've read a lot about another bunch of related things, so I'm going to try and muscle my way through. It's more or less a deterioration of a number of different systems in your body, mostly muscular. Whereas a windy day is just a pain in the butt for me carrying drywall. It can really knock her off her whole game where, you know, head to toe she feels horrible. All of her joints are aching worse than arthritis. It just shuts her down. So mostly when atmospheric changes hit badly is when she is affected the most. Now others with fibromyalgia, because it is a large blanket of diagnosis, others have, you know, different triggers. But it's been difficult to deal with, but she's staying very positive. And through Undercover Boss, she's had a lot of people contact her and offer up their tips, their hints, you know, whatever's worked for them. And she's tapped into a slightly larger community, and with any luck, the things that she's tweeted or Facebooked have helped other people as well.
So it opened up more resources for her too.
Absolutely,
So,
and just with
cool.
like with any problem, you know, the more minds you put together, the better.
So what is the prognosis for her in the long run? As, I mean, they can't stop it. Can they
No.
slow it down? Is it, and then what's her end result?
Unfortunately, she's got a very unique situation, whereas most people can take anti-inflammatories and get a lot of this dissipated, to get water down the pain an awful lot. She's actually allergic to naproxen and most anti-inflammatories. So she found that out by almost blowing her lips up by taking an Advil one day, and after that, she can't take any anti-inflammatories. So they keep trying different things to try and quell it. I can't remember the exact name of what she's on right now, but it seems to be working. It's
Natural medicines? Has she explored that?
She hasn't gone
opportunity?
homeopathic yet, but we've been thinking about exploring more of it. It's just right now, it's the drugs that the drug that she's on is long-term effect. So 6 to 10 months, you're supposed to see it kind of ramp up to that.
Okay.
And getting off of it is the same thing, whereas it's serious enough to your body that you need to ramp down from it. So
It's kind of scary stuff, though.
it really is.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to mess with your body's metabolism that much, but you know what's the other option is just sit around in pain, and she doesn't want to be bedridden. So
No, of course not. I know the natural medicines, they're really on the increase.
Mhm.
They are really finding out there's some really good stuff out there.
well,
So-
a lot of them have been around for thousands of years, so you can't argue with results, right?
Exactly. So Dyllan, when did they come to you and tell you that the cameras were going to come? Did they tell you that John, as his name in the show, who's looking for a change in career or looking at new careers, how did they tell you that this was going to be about, and when did they tell you?
Initially, I believe they came to me, let's say March or April, and just a fella came around with a little video camera, and he came to my boss and said, "Show me a hard worker," and Doug pointed him back to me. I was throwing insulation like on the video at the time, and I guess they decided right at that minute that I was the guy for them. So I had an interview with him for a good 45 minutes to an hour, just chatting about my job, my life, and I was packed up for the day, and I had been hijacked by my son. He put a stuffed bunny in my backpack to keep me company for the day. So I whipped that out, and I guess that was the real trigger for him. I was like,
That's signing the deal right there.
that's going to be it. So then I had another interview with another fellow that said, you know, he was the actual director of the project, and the auspice that they gave me was that they were taping a pilot for a show called something to do with, you know, working hard, where you get an office person who doesn't think that, you know, labor is very difficult to come out and try a labor job.
Oh yeah.
So they told me that they'd be doing something with me and something with someone else in Middle Canada, Home Hardware, and somewhere out west, Home Hardware, but no more details than that. So I did get quite a bit of notice about it, but again, it was all on the auspice that we're taping a pilot. And
And how long before the actual taping? How was this, like a few months before, or?
I'd say, again, it's been a while. I'd say it was the better part of a month and a half from first greeting to actually recording day.
Oh, did it? Yeah. So did it get you thinking? Did you know maybe something was up with this? You've seen the show.
Yes.
So were you thinking that?
My wife saw it a number of times, and I'd seen it a few times just in passing because it was on TV. And Dan and I see Dan probably more than my wife these days because we work, 40 hours a week together, if not more. So we were talking a lot after my initial interview, and we just discussed the possibility because it's very rare for anyone to want to help us do anything,
Yeah.
let alone to want to record and like, hey, let's give
Yeah.
these guys, a pat on the back, because again, you don't get a lot of those in labor jobs. So we discussed the idea and just decided to play everything nice and safe to make sure that no matter what happens, we're going to give the place a decent name and not bury ourselves, and not get in hot water with the boss as well.
Yeah, exactly. Easily done.
Yeah, there's better venues to go and make your complaints if you have some. So
Yeah.
have a nice time with it and play it for the best. You never know what can happen.
So who came to you and told you that this was going to be forthcoming?
Basically, everything was left in my hands right from the second Doug pointed him over to me, and he came to talk to me. And after that, I filled in my boss on what was going to happen, and they just
So
left.
you're pretty much blinded right at the start too. They just threw
Absolutely.
you in there.
I didn't know what was going on, but I was expected to be the point man on all the information, know what we're allowed to do, what we are not allowed to do, run things past our HR guy who can, like, am I allowed to have this guy on a job site? Can
Yeah.
we do this kind of thing? And
See,
after,
I wondered that too because, okay, he is the COO of
Yeah.
Home Hardware, but still liability and
On a
stuff
job
on
site.
a job site. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I've often wondered how do they get around that stuff?
well,
you know?
they had the permission from the builder, and the builder was very, very gracious. They cleaned up their whole site. They made everything. They put stairs in the front for us, and we got royal treatment for that tiny little house of drywall that we did. And one of the easier houses that we could ever do. Same thing with on the day of the safety video, we had a little 4-lift house to do, and it was just a little bungalow, but they had the whole site cleaned. They had billboards of themselves all over the place, which I appreciate. Like, hey, just get all the advertisement you can out of it.
So in the show, they again we just talked about the training video. So they did mention that Terry wanted to have you in on the training video. So how did that go, and what did you do in the training video?
It took the better part of 8 months to finally arrange something with the people that were recording the training video. I think they were sponsored by PIB, one of our insurance resources. So we had a much larger recording team this time. I think there's a total of 10 or 12 people with us. And they came to us and said, we would like to record the safety involved with loading up a truck of drywall, unloading the truck of drywall, packing, unpacking, working in public. Just any little tips you have about, not getting hurt on site. We did that on the very last day that it both rained and snowed and had massive bouts of sunshine on the same day this year. And it went off without a hitch. Again, the builder, we used the same builders we did for Undercover Boss. They were fantastic. Unfortunately, one of our trades left their trailer right dead smack in our way. So just one more challenge to work around. You just have to, we got to show them on the video, how you have to work around some things sometimes. You definitely have to be willing to think on your feet. So everything went off without a hitch, but it was a 12-hour recording day for, I think, a 13-minute video. So that was...
Oh, trust me, I know what it's like.
I can only imagine.
Now this video, so it's only strictly within the Home Hardware Corporation, right?
Yeah.
So all the franchisees will get that video. Is that the idea? So any
Yeah.
new employees, they all watch or refreshers?
Yeah, it's a safety video, and we, even all of our employees haven't seen it yet. A number of them keep asking me if I'm going to be doing it sometime soon. But it was something called SBTV, and internally within Home Hardware, they use that as a resource. Some places will use it and offer something in return. If you watch enough of these SBTV videos, then you're now more qualified, or you're better trained. You've taken the enthusiasm and taken the hit on your own time to go and learn this stuff. So maybe you'll get a t-shirt, a cap, or something like that. Just anything to get you learning more about your job in general. So I've carved a good niche for myself. I've been doing the same thing ever since I started too.
Yep.
So I got my forklift ticket, I got a fall rest ticket, I do shingles off a roof. And I've had, Danny's my 7th boom truck driver now. I was in the truck that, I was with the truck that hit the wire over on Wilson Avenue. And I don't think I've ever been more scared in my life.
Yeah. Did it make a big?
It sounded
Big
like
spark
a
and a
million
big boom?
pound bumblebee going zzz, boom, and then it blotted out the sky. Like everything
Yeah?
just went white. And I was in
Wow.
between two houses, and I was walking back towards the truck, and I heard the zzz, and I just started booking it for the backyard. I'm putting a house between that thing and me.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I had told the driver already,
Wow.
like, you can't do that. It's physically, you can't do that. And he's like, it's been done. But he was an older fella who'd been stuck in his ways.
Can't teach him.
No,
Yeah.
he learned the hard way.
Dyllan, what you guys did was amazing. I don't know that I could ever do it, but I learned a lot from you. How to be safe on the job, how to be efficient on the job. I think you are a star, and I'm going to put you in our corporate training video. Yard tips for rookies.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think you're the perfect guy for it.
Clearly speechless about it. Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to do that.
You impressed me, Dyllan. I know things haven't been the easiest for you, and you're a single wage earner trying to look after your wife and your two kids, and I know you make sacrifices, and I want to help you out a bit. I want to look after your rent for you for a year.
Wow.
And I think you can take those funds and you can look after your family the way you want to look after them.
Wow. I have no idea what to say other than thank you.
Well, Dyllan, you lead by example.
I'm
Thanks
so
very much.
taken back. I'm a little bit speechless right now. I want to call my wife. I want to hug my kids. They're just such little rays of sunshine that something like this is going to make them blow up. They're just going to explode. I'm really proud.
Dyllan, in the show, Terry Davis had actually mentioned that they were going to pay your rent for you for a year. So did that happen? Did they actually pay your rent, or?
Yeah. They contacted me within about a month and a half, and I think August of, actually, you know what? It was right before it actually aired, I started getting my rent paid.
Oh, wow.
So before anyone even saw this on TV, they sent me my first check.
So they're actually sending you like a monthly check to pay
Yeah.
your rent, or they just didn't go to the landlord and give the whole year and say
No.
Yeah.
They sent me a monthly check right to my house, and
Hey, still nice, though.
oh yeah, and they asked me what my rent was. I said, this is my rent, and you know what? These are my utilities, and they decided to throw in an extra $150 a month. So that
Oh,
didn't
very
hurt
nice.
anything at all. I didn't
Very
ask for
nice.
it, but I figured. My brother always told me, if you ask, you may receive. If you don't
Yeah.
ask, you get nothing. So
Now, you said, as we were talking just before we started to tape this, you didn't go on vacation.
no.
At the end of the show, it says that with your rent paid now, it's time for family vacation and stuff. So why?
Well,
Why didn't you go?
It's just a matter of one hiccup after another hiccup. With a low budget family in the first place, you have one big dental bill, and that knocks everything in dominoes. Rent or no rent, we've been on a fairly even budget for a couple of years now, especially with Nicole not being as able to work.
It'd be tough.
The same thing, like I said before, about my attendance. We've taken the odd hit here and there just for migraines where I can't show up for work, and I've already blown out my sick days. My work is phenomenal in allowing me to use some of my vacation time to back that up from time to time, but I don't want to rely on that. When vacation's gone, it's gone though. So I wanted to save my vacation, actually paid time for Christmas time, to go down to Toronto. So we did take a couple small like day or weekend trips, but nothing as a full vacation.
So with your rent being paid, I would imagine the amount of stress for bills and stuff will come down quite a bit, which then for the family unit makes it more enjoyable, just having that stress taken away too.
Absolutely.
So you guys get a chance to actually focus on togetherness and even just here at home.
Absolutely.
better, eh?
I've already taken my kids on tour of all the parks in town. We go out just about every night, or at least every other night. It's a lot more cohesive. We have a lot less to worry about. I don't have to take any little bit part jobs on weekends here and there to get an extra little boost when we need it.
Yeah.
Construction boom took a big hit quite a few years ago, and we've slowed down quite a bit. I'm not getting the same. We don't get the raises as we used to, basically. So we've a lot of the money from Undercover Boss was used to dig ourselves out of the holes that we were already in. So it helped us get our faces above water, which is again something that was a long time coming, ever since we had kids. Well,
Just to get your head up enough to breathe again.
exactly.
Is nice, eh?
And just having that little bit of free room where we can say there's $100 left. Like, we don't even know what we want to do with that.
Are you always watching over your shoulder now to see when the little guy's going to come with a shovel to knock you back down in the hole again?
No, I'm that positive a person
Good.
where I just
Good.
really don't care. I read a definition of happiness a long time ago that stuck with me, and you only need three things. You have to have something to do, something to look forward to, and someone to love. And I got all three things. Anything else is gravy. So
Very good.
I'm pretty philosophical with that. It keeps me going on the bad days.
At the very end of the show, we see you standing there, and then you kind of look over at the camera, and then it scrolls up there on
The
the
synopsis.
graphics, of what happened. So, at the end of that, how did they tape that? So, how did you know, about looking over at the camera? How did they fool you? I guess kind of.
Well, basically, the entire setup was the end of the day for production was let's go back up onto the mezzanine and let's see if Terry can toss one of these master packs like we saw you doing before. So he and I went up there, and I think one of the other film crew guys was up there just for fun. And so we gave Terry the lighter one, and he did his best with it. Like honestly, he worked hard that day. He's done a lot better than a lot
you
of
could
the
see him sweating.
A lot of the young part-timers or younger people that we have come in. He actually tried, he listened, did great. So then I threw a couple down and they recorded that, and then they said that because this is going to be a 3-part pilot, there's going to be an introduction at the very beginning of the show. They'll need to show basically just a splash or an intro of you, the other person, and the other person. So throw a bundle of insulation up here, turn to the camera, smile, and that'll be your introduction. They'll put your name under that, and then they'll start your segment. Okay, so I smiled and made pretty for the cameras.
So since the show now, how's the recognition been? Were you in town?
It's amazing that I haven't watched the show in probably the better part of 6 or 8 months now, but I know when all the reruns are on, because no matter what channel, no matter what time of day, because someone will walk up to me the next day and say, I saw you on TV last night. And it was actually a contractor I hadn't seen in probably the better part of a year on Friday. He said, so how is your wife doing anyways? Every time I see that episode, I keep thinking about her and wondering how she's doing. And like I said, I recognized him, but I was really surprised that a lot of people are very, very intrigued and interested. And
That's cool.
It makes me
we
happy.
got the emails.
Yep.
Yeah, we got the emails. So, well, that's awesome. Well, listen, I thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
That's why I had to contact you, because of the emails and a lot of these questions were from viewers and stuff from our site. So I guess with being Undercover Boss Canada, so let's do the Canadian cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Timmy's, of course. I'd like to see a show done with that one.
Absolutely.
Put them behind making donuts.
I'll go in.
Coffees.
I'd like to guest star.
Would you? Okay. Thanks again, Neil.
Thank you.